I get approached by companies and brands to do sponsorship integrations all the time on this channel. And some of them are pretty funny. Like, we get approached from companies that sell wallets, chainsaws, dog food. They always tell me how much they love the content and what a good fit we would be if we worked together. And I'm always trying to figure out, like, what are these people thinking? Like, how do they think that I'm a good fit for those products? All I can picture is myself with a chainsaw trying to tell you how you can cut up footage better with a Black & Decker chainsaw. So those of you who know the channel pretty well know that we only work with a few sponsors, and we're very picky about who we work with. We always make sure that the brands and sponsors we work with are ones that we think provide a lot of value, not only for ourselves, but for all of you out there who might be watching along. And we like to know that the people behind the product are actually good people. And that makes it really tricky because we turn down some really big sponsorships. We've been approached by companies who want to spend more than $100,000 a year to have us talk about their product on the channel, and I have to tell them no because I don't think it's a good fit. I don't want my channel to be one giant commercial for a bunch of products every single week. I'd rather talk to you about Blackmagic Design's DaVinci Resolve, or maybe talk to you about Storyblocks, or companies that I think make products that help us do what we do best: edit videos and grow YouTube channels. But there was one company that I've been running into for a while now that I was convinced I would never work with. And the name of that company is Opus Clip. Now let me back up for a minute. A bunch of the people that I really love and respect work with Opus Clip, and when I would go out to speak at conventions like Vid Summit or Social Media Marketing World, I would run into my friends like Nick Nimmin, who's a brand ambassador for Opus Clip. And through Nick, I met the team behind Opus Clip several times. I can remember being in the UK last year at a convention. Nick was there speaking, and he introduced me to a gentleman named Connor Elliott, who's the head of creator partnerships for Opus Clip. Now, in meeting Connor, he had actually said to me, "Oh, I've tried to reach out to a few times, Daniel. We never heard back." And I felt a little bit bad about that because there are a lot of companies that reach out and we don't always respond for one reason or another, but we do try to get back to everyone we can. But from what I knew about Opus Clip is they were a product that was web-based, where you could take videos, upload them onto Opus Clip, and Opus Clip used AI to cut these videos up and turn them into short-form content. Now, I had seen some of the results, and honestly, it was pretty impressive. But that is all I knew about the product. And on my channel, if you've seen any of the shorts that I do, especially the DaVinci Resolve for Noob short series, every one of those shorts I sit and make as original content. I sit and film it like I'm filming now. It's never repurposed from something longer. I always feel like if I'm making content for you, the viewer, I need to put as much effort into that content as possible to make sure that it does exactly what I want it to do, help you guys learn to do things like edit video. So this past year, I spoke at Social Media Marketing World, and Nick Nimmin had spoken there as well. And of course, we ran into the guys from Opus Clip. I saw Connor Elliott, who's really a likable guy. Like, if you ever saw Connor, he's always got a smile on his face. Like, he's just a really friendly, likable guy. That goes a long way for me because I always want to work with companies where I feel like the people behind the product actually care about creators. But again, didn't see the fit. But while Nick and I were there speaking, Connor had invited me to a dinner after one of the evening's events. And to be honest with you, I was on the fence about going, whether I should or I shouldn't, because I didn't think that I was someone who would be a good fit. And I didn't really want to have someone buy me dinner if I didn't think that I was going to end up doing some business with them. Just kind of the way I roll. But Nick had reached out to me later on that day and said, "Hey, you know, Connor really would like to sit down and talk to you. Why don't you come out to dinner with us?" So I did. While I was at this dinner, I started talking to the team. And I told them exactly what I just told you. Didn't think it was a good fit. I'm not really into repurposed content. I like original content. And they understood that. They heard where I was coming from. But as I started talking to them a little bit more, I realized that we were both going from that convention to another convention in Las Vegas called NAB, the National Association for Broadcasters. I was going to be there hanging out with the guys from DaVinci Resolve, and I asked Opus Clip, "What are you guys doing there?" And they started explaining to me that they had industry customers that they worked with, people like the NFL and different sporting leagues that film lots and lots of content and use Opus Clip to go through all of this raw footage and come up with usable clips that they can put out. And I said, wait a minute. You're telling me that there are people out there that are using Opus Clip to go through lots of raw, unedited footage, edit it down, and put it out as original content? And I looked at them and I said, don't you think that people would be really interested in knowing that Opus Clip is really good for making original content and not just repurposed content? Because there's a lot of creators that I know who spend tons of time editing content and would love to have another trick up their sleeve to be able to make more content more effectively. This would be a huge help for a lot of creators that I know. And they sort of laughed and looked at me and said, well, that's kind of what we want you to help us do. So fast forward to where we are today. I'm happy to announce that OpusClip is going to be a sponsor for the rest of the year on the channel, and we're going to be doing something very specific. I want to see if I can figure out how to take original, unedited, filmed content and create it in a way that I can upload it to OpusClip and have OpusClip understand what I want to do with it and create original short-form content that I can then put out onto YouTube and other places that I upload to. And I specifically want it all to be original content. And I'm actually going to be making content talking about my trials and errors, figuring out the best tips and tricks to be able to do exactly that. Now, if you haven't seen OpusClip, let me run over to my desk really quickly and just kind of show you what it's like, because it's pretty incredible. So here I am at my desk, and I've opened up OpusClip.pro. And it's got a ton of features and functionality, but I just want to show you a really simple example of what it can do. Now, from the home page here, you can see it gives you the options to either drop a video link or upload files. Now, I'd probably usually upload files, but let me just go over to my YouTube channel. I'm going to scroll and see if there's something in here that maybe might be decent for cutting up into shorts. This video here is done pretty well. It's called Conquer the Color Page in DaVinci Resolve, and I spent about a half hour talking about the color page. So all I'm going to do is grab the share link from this video. I'm going to go back over to OpusClip, and I'm going to paste that right in there. And then I'm just going to click Get Free Clips. Now it'll open up some options where you can customize how OpusClip might actually clip this video, including some personalized templates down here below. But I'm going to pretty much just leave it as it is and click Get Clips in one click. Now OpusClip will work its magic and go through that video and start deciding what might make good shorts or good clips from this longer video. And it says right here you can put on an option to let it notify you by email when it's done doing that, because it takes a minute to actually do all this clipping. And as you can see here, it actually shows you the projects that are undergoing their process, and it has a percentage done and an ETA for when it might be completed. But I'll just wait for it to notify me, and I can get back to working on a different edit in DaVinci Resolve. And sure enough, about 10 minutes later, it's all done. So now if I click on this project, you'll see all of these clips that it's put together, and it's given a rating based on what it thinks might be a slightly better clip or more effective clip, and then works its way down. Let's take a look at this one. I should probably make that distinction right off the bat. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about color grading and color correcting. In a very loose way, when people talk about color correcting, what they mean is that your camera itself may either add a certain amount of color or presets to get your footage to look a certain way in camera. Color grading tends to be more about creating an atmosphere where you might intentionally be moving the color one way or another to create a mood. Like if you're trying to create a scene that looks more like it's at night, things might be more blue. When you're color correcting, what you're really thinking about is taking the footage into your project and correcting for anything that might be a little off, trying to get the white balance where you want it and start from a neutral standpoint. Now this one wasn't perfect. You can actually go back in and you can tweak some of the edit to get it just the way you want, but it's already put in all of the captions. They pop out, they've got color accents on certain words, and it's clipped this down in a way that might be 90% of the way to where I want it to be, and I'm pretty picky. Now from here, you can actually select one of these clips and decide to publish it up on social media, onto YouTube. You can choose to edit it some more. There's all sorts of options, and I'll definitely dive into this more. So in terms of being able to repurpose content, it definitely knows how to do that. What I'm going to be working on is seeing if I can get it to make original content from original unedited footage. So one of the cool things going on is anybody who wants to try OpusClip for a week, I've got a link down below where you can log in and create an account, and you can actually play around with this for free and see what you think about it. I'll leave all the details to that down below, but I think that if I can find any product that helps original content creators like us make more content, make it more effectively, speed up our workflow, and give us the ability to put more content out more efficiently, you know I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. So keep an eye out for this series. I haven't figured out a name for it yet. I like to have names from them so you know ahead of time which video is which. We have DaVinci Resolve for noobs. Maybe we should have quick tips for Opus Clips. I don't know. If you have an idea, leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to have a good name for a series. Thanks to OpusClip for sponsoring this video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.